Hello everyone, my name is Zhanat Soyuzova and I'm going to present my research that I have conducted within the course of Introduction to Research in Applied Linguistics. The topic of my research is Junior Students' Perceptions of Enhancing Listening Comprehension through Note-Taking. The content of the presentation starts with the purpose and significance of the topic. Then I'll mention the research questions that I set out to answer. Afterwards, I'll talk about some important parts from the literature review. Then I will present what research methods were used and who the participants were. After that, I will discuss the results and findings and make a conclusion. The purpose of this study is to analyze the junior TFL students' perceptions towards improving their listening comprehension through taking notes. The significance of this study lies in the fact that taking notes is a fairly common practice in contemporary courses that require an understanding of complex content. Thus, it is necessary to investigate the impact of such a technique on the development of students' academic and intellectual skills. This research paper tries to seek answers for the following questions. What are the attitudes of junior TFL students towards using note-taking as a tool for improving listening comprehension? And to what extent taking notes enhances listening comprehension in EFL classrooms? Next, there are three main aspects of the literature review. So first of all, I give an overview of what note-taking is and explain the definition of the term. The term note-taking implies a record of information intended to collect and memorize a large amount of information from sources such as lectures, books, and more. The next part focuses on a number of different articles that highlight the importance of taking notes for enhancing comprehension and its impact on learning. For example, it was emphasized that the process of taking notes itself facilitates the understanding and processing of information. This also includes more attention paid to important points and less to unnecessary details. Having studied this from the perspective of EFL classroom, it was argued that by expressing meanings in concise synapses, students focus better on the target language, which consequently improves the development of the language system in general. Also, during the simultaneous listening and taking notes, higher order cognitive functions such as evaluating the necessary information, making decisions, interpreting and summarizing come into action. Although a large number of studies have been conducted supporting the significance and effectiveness of note-taking, there is a critical assessment of this strategy and the presentation of various controversial findings as well. Some researchers have noted that the use of visual aids has reduced the benefits of notes for listening comprehension. Similarly, the pace of how a teacher delivers a lecture can have a disturbing effect when the speech is too fast, which can result in disorderly handwriting that creates problems with viewing the notes later. One of the most frequently mentioned reasons why students face problems with effective note-taking is because they were not instructed on how to do that properly. Therefore, several researchers have put forward the idea that teaching about strategies for correct and successful note-taking should be part of the program. A mixed approach with both qualitative and quantitative data collection methods was used, and data was collected through a questionnaire which was created and conducted via Google Forms in an online format. Since the aim of the study was to find about the perception of sophomore students of Süleyman Demirel University studying in the specialty of 2 foreign languages, the participants were selected specifically from this group. In total, 35 students were involved in the process. In order to have relevant answers and data for analysis, the samples with the experience in taking notes were chosen. Analysis of the responses show that students perceive taking notes as a good and necessary practice for effective learning. The results show that writing down notes increases attention paid to the lecturer's speech and improves memorization of the material. Thus, the data demonstrate that students have a successful comprehension of the material while they listen to the information and record it. Despite the mentioned positive aspects, students still face some difficulties in maintaining the practice of taking notes. The results provided some important aspects that need to be paid attention to. Namely, the data provides a new insight into understanding the motivation of students, since forced writing brought more negative feelings than desires. The results of this study support the claims that increasing number of visual aids, such as PowerPoint presentations, reduce students' concentration during the lectures. However, the responses of the students did not match the results of one of the studies mentioned in the literature review, as the participants of this study did not find the speed with which the lecturer speaks a problem. At the same time, the results fit with the theory that when taking notes, students had problems with understanding their handwriting. In addition, as previous studies have claimed the distracting quality of taking notes at the same time as listening to the lectures, a similar problem was noticed in the results of this study. The mentioned difficulties that students face indicate the importance of teaching various methods of taking notes to students. Most of the respondents in this study did not receive instructions on how to take notes properly. So, one of the most important findings that the results of this study demonstrate is the importance of implementing the instructions of note-taking techniques to students. In conclusion, it can be said that the research questions were successfully answered, as they support most of the theories and concepts mentioned in previous studies, as well as brought some new findings. The results of this study can help inform teachers about specific areas in which they can prepare their students for better assimilation of the material during lectures. Further research is needed to ensure the influence of instruction on note-taking skills and indicate the specific gaps. Moreover, most of the studies conducted on general comprehension of the material, and they didn't aim at specifically listening skills. For this reason, more specialized research is needed. It is worth noting that the methodological choice was limited by the current pandemic situation to conduct an experimental study. So here are the references. I hope this video was informative for you, and thank you for your attention.